We got a special guest in the building today, better known as Tink, or better known as Marcus Jr., or just plain old Marcus. And you know, everybody has a story to tell, you know what I'm saying? And my son is willing to tell his story or whatnot. So hopefully y'all enjoy it. Hopefully he's an inspiration to you like he is to me. And let's get this thing started.
Yeah, sure.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, I'm a pretty cool man, pretty chilled, you know. Stay in the house a lot. I really can't go out right now because I'm having seizures back to back to back, you know. It scares me to death that I'm having seizures, but that's life, you know.
Now tell me how all this started. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you that I've written down and whatnot. Tell me how all this stuff started. Well, I pretty much know most of it, but I know you was having a lot of problems in school when you was when you was younger or whatnot.
Yeah.
We didn't, as parents, we didn't know exactly what was going on with you, but we knew something was going on. I guess at that time you was probably having the brain tumors or whatnot.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know, my son's case was the second largest in St. Jude's history. Him and another little girl. They had the biggest brain tumors in there. But he did have a successful surgery, and he's doing fine now, which we're going to talk about. We're going to get to it, but we're going to take it back to the beginning, how everything all started. So you was having problems in school, huh, when you was younger?
Yeah, I used to get in a lot of trouble when I was young. A lot of trouble. Yeah, I remember getting called to the counselor's office because I used to knock on teacher doors and run when I was younger. So
yeah, that sounds like fun. I never did it though. I might have done knocking on people's doors and ran back in the day on the block or whatnot, but I didn't do it in school.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty cool. But I know you got in trouble a lot of times at Link.
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
We was always at Link, y'all. Always. We was always at Link, man. Tink was cutting up there, but you know, this was the beginning of some of the problems that he was having from the condition that he had at the time. You want to elaborate on some of the things that you was going through with the psychiatrist that you have? Now, let's go back to the basketball days.
Yeah.
Because he used to play basketball for, either South Suburban?
South Suburban and for my school, Smith Hill.
Smith Hill. So he was a pretty good basketball star or whatnot, doing his thing. And tell me about your basketball career a little bit.
Well,
before I know you was having the brain tumors at the time, but we didn't know you was having the brain tumors. I mean, you was always complaining about your head hurting, but you would still go out and play basketball, go to all the practices.
Yeah.
I know it was one time that we had to pull you out of a game because your head hurted so bad.
Yeah, I took a BC to the head.
Yeah, BC, and then he got back out there and played. So tell us a little bit about your basketball experience and what you loved about it and what you miss about it since you really can't play it now.
I really miss the team so much. We used to bond so much with chemistry and stuff, learning each other moves and stuff, learning each other plays. The coach came up with a play called SSB. That was a cool play. So the full team gets the ball and everything, passing it around. Somebody cuts behind somebody and shoots. That was my favorite play.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I think I remember that play.
Yeah.
I remember. This is bad and good. I remember we was playing. I mean, you was playing. You had a game, and y'all was getting beat real bad. I know you remember that. And he had faked the injury to get out the game because he didn't want to suffer that defeat like that. We had to force him to go back into the game, man. That was crazy. What about that right there?
Man, I don't know, man. My brain tumor took over that day, man.
Oh man. So what else you want to talk about? What about your psychiatrist that you have there for a little while?
So I had a psychiatrist, Mr. Ron. He used to see me every Tuesday. We used to go to his office and talk about things. She took me out Quick Trip and make McDonald's and everything. You know, we really bonded. But as the days went on, you know, I stopped seeing him like every other Tuesday. It went to every other month, every other 3 months and stuff. You know, so
Yeah. That's crazy. And that's just because the behavior problems that you was having because of the brain tumors. We had to get you a psychiatrist there for a little while to try to figure out what was going on, but it wasn't nothing really happening. And I guess the brain tumors kept on progressing and getting bigger in your brain, and you was having even more issues with your attitude and everything,
yeah.
which is understandable. I get it. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on? What about, let me see, I know you had a psychiatrist. What about the first time you got diagnosed with brain tumors? Now, matter of fact, let's go back. What about that eye doctor's appointment that me and your mom went to, and that's when they were saying something wrong with your eye?
Yeah, so I went to the eye doctor and everything. I thought my vision was just perfectly fine, but my mom, she said something else. So she took me to the eye doctor. The eye doctor said your eye is like, your pupil is like dilated and everything. So
I remember that.
and I believe that was on the 23rd of December. So my mama, she took me to the hospital the next day on December 24th. And we was in there for about 5-6 hours and stuff. I was just saying in my head, man, I ain't gonna find nothing, man. So when the lady comes back, she said, she looked my mom and dad straight in the eye and said, he has a brain tumor. I seen my pops leave the room, and I think he didn't want to cry in front of me, but shit.
I most definitely cried when I got out of it because it was some of the most devastating news I ever had gotten in my whole entire life since I've been living. Besides my mom and dad passed, and I felt that type of pain again, and I'm like, whoa. At that time I didn't know what to do. I was worried about you, and then I think a little bit after that, you started going to Children's Mercy, and they was trying to get you fixed up or whatnot, but they didn't have the proper credentials to get you well.
Yeah, so they kind of like turned my brain tumor like worse for trying to fix it. They put a plate in my head right here to draw some fluid or something.
Yeah, stent. I think with a stent in there they put in there because I think how it all happened. Your first surgery was at Children's Mercy when they went in just to see what was in there, because after they did the CAT scans and the MRIs, yes, they found something on your brain, but then they went in and found that they couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah, that was a couple months later at St. Jude. They Mr. I don't know his name, but so it was a big meeting and everything. St. Jude, a whole bunch of other hospitals and stuff. They all was in one little room going over all the scans, CAT scans and everything. And then my name pulled up on it. And St. Jude said, well, yeah, we can take him. We'll treat him at our hospital and everything. So I flew out there. I believe it was February the 1st, I believe. We flew out there. The doctor's talking about my brain tumor and everything. Imagine me, I'm so scared and stuff. And with my parents talking. So
yeah, that was trippy nation, man. And then they did some type of experiment medicine on your brain or whatnot, where one of the doctors was saying he could shrink your brain tumors or whatnot. And he tried his procedure and kind of made it worse.
yeah.
And he put some type of stuff in there right on top of the brain tumors, and it didn't take. And I remember you coming back home later on that day, your head was hurting so bad you couldn't even barely go to the restroom and walk.
Yeah, I remember taking showers in the dark because the light would like make my head hurt even more. So yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I know I would. Do you remember a little bit of your ride going to St. Jude? I remember me and your mom you in the back, and we was driving to St. Jude, and because once we got to once St. Jude had that big meeting, but I guess Children Mercy had a real big staff meeting with all the doctors from all around the world, I guess. And St. Jude, a couple of reps from St. Jude came in there for the big meeting and everything, and Children Mercy had presented your case to them, and once they seen your CAT scans and your MRI, they immediately wanted you down there like the next couple of days so they can operate on you.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was, and that's how serious it was, because when they had that big meeting, St. Jude was like, we have to get him down here immediately. Yeah. And then 2 days later, we was on the road heading down there so you can get your work done. As soon as we got in there, they start. I think we spent the night there. Then early that morning, they prepped you for surgery or whatever.
Yeah.
So how did all that feel? Was you overwhelmed at that time?
Yeah, I was overwhelmed because my dad had to go back home. He had to go to work the next day. Just seeing him leave and everything, leave my side. My mom was literally right there, but just seeing him leave just kind of broke my heart and everything.
Well, I stayed for a little while because I stayed for your surgery. Yeah. Your surgery was 10 hours. It's supposed to have been 9 hours, but it was actually 10. And I think you was in surgery for about 6 hours. Me and your mom was tired or whatnot, so I went, and I was hungry too, so I went down to the cafeteria in St. Jude, and all the doctors that was operating on you, even your main doctor, they was down there. They had to get something to eat. They still had all their surgical outfits on and everything. And I'm like, is my son doing okay? Because I'm like, okay, y'all supposed to be, in my mind, I'm like, okay, they're supposed to be operating on my son. And I seen them down there trying to get a bite to eat, so I started asking questions. It was like, we still got him under. He's doing just fine. We removed 90% of the brain tumor. We're about to go in and clean everything up. We had to take a break because we've been operating for around 6 hours straight. We're about to go ahead and go in one more time and clean them up, then patch them up. Yeah. And then a couple of hours later, you was out of surgery. Yeah. And
yeah, I remember that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Stay tuned to part 2 of Tink's interview, Little Marcus interview or whatnot. And there's so much more stuff that we got to go over when it comes to being in St. Jude, being in the Ronald McDonald House, and all the things that we done seen down there, and a whole bunch of other experiences too when he had to go to radiation therapy or proton therapy or whatnot.
I have to go to both radiation and proton.
Yeah. And stay tuned to part 2. Y'all enjoy yourselves. And thanks for watching
Mr. Moore Show.